now like to introduce Dr. Atul Ramgade, sir. Good afternoon, Dr. Atul Ramgade, sir.
Jain sir, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Dr. Atul Ramgade, sir, is currently working as a principal at Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Pune, since August 2020, and continuing to guide his staff and students for the betterment and growth. Sir is the founder member of our institute and guiding the institute with the help of his spirit of greatness and positive attitude. His dedication towards academics has given a new thrust to the employment of students of the institute. A long journey in academics of 23 years has nourished and developed him into a well-experienced academician. The key factors, according to him, that have kept him connected with the education sector are dedication, commitment, continuous professional upgradation, research aptitude, student-centric approach, eagerness to give contemporary knowledge to his students. Sir has a PhD in hospitality and tourism management. He is member of selection committee, chairman of syllabus setting committee, and member of examination committee in Savitribai Phule Pune University. Very, very warm welcome, Dr. Atul Ramgade, sir. Apologies for the delay. Please go ahead with your keynote address, please. Yes.
Fine. So, good afternoon to everyone. Thank you, Manoj sir, for your presenting my introduction. Without taking much time, I would like to start today's presentation. As everybody of us are aware that research has become a very very important aspect of our life, and especially for the academicians. It's very very important to basically see that we are continuously doing the research. So my topic for today is how to write and publish a quality research paper. Manoj sir, my screen is available, is being visible. Hello.
Sorry. Yes, Dr. Atul Ramgade, sir. It is visible.
Yes, yes, yes.
Please.
Once I'll make some adjustments. Just give me 2 minutes.
No, not a problem.
Full screen coming there. Full screen. F5. Okay, fine. Uh, Fine. So I was what I was saying is as research is become very important now, especially talking about we most of us are academicians joining today at this platform. So a very important and crucial thing for academicians today is to publish quality papers in reputed journals. It has really become in couple of years. It has become very very important for the academicians to publish, uh, do publications and publish good articles, papers related to the research. So that is the reason I have particularly chosen this particular topic. Maybe it could help the academicians to aspiring researchers for them to publish good research papers. So basically, to introduce, there are various types of collates of research, such as research reports. Now research reports are made at undergraduate levels as well as the postgraduate levels. Why these reports are made? These reports are made for them to make the students aware of the various qualities. One of it is analytical ability, problem solving ability, and to increase their conceptual knowledge, because they are going to go in the industry, they are going to become employees, managers, so they have to have the knowledge of knowledge or the attributes or traits of UGN, traits of research. So at undergraduate and postgraduate level, there are research reports which are made by the students. Then there is dissertation. Dissertations basically are done at postgraduate levels or MPhil level. It is also done at minor and major research projects. Various research projects are done undertaken by the institutes through various sponsoring agencies, either government or non-governmental agencies. So dissertations has to be made. This is especially done for the postgraduate students. Unless they submit their dissertation, they won't get their. They are. It is said that they will not complete their academic performance. Next is thesis. Thesis is basically it's a compilation of your work that you have done through when you were undergoing your PhD process. So it's the total compilation of your topic, findings, how you have done your research and methodology, and everything will come under the thesis. So thesis is also a major part of research, whereby thesis has to be submitted. Then major and minor research projects are also there. In this way, here you have to make research proposals to acquire the projects from various agencies. It could be either government or private agencies. And then comes research articles and research papers. Talking about research articles and research papers, almost it is same, but to differentiate, we can differentiate both by saying that research papers have more in-depth, should I say, we will require more depth for making research papers as compared to research articles, because research article may not have, some of the research articles may not have statistical tools applied or while collecting the data, and it may not show the conceptual framework, but research paper should consist of all these factors. So this is the basic difference between research article and research paper. So this way basically various types of research collations are done. Next is the importance of publishing papers. As everybody, if you are from academics, you know that for everything and everything it is now judged by the research work. You talk about your research score, you talk about your academic performance index, you talk about promotions, you talk about anything in academics, it is attached to research. So it's important for any academicians right from entry level, that is assistant professor, till you become director, you have to publish papers. It is made very clear and mandatory by the authorities. So and now in some years, maybe 5 or 6 years, the things have changed. UGC have come with their own care list where the journals has to be published. Initially people used to submit and publish papers in many journals. Lot of the journals were not of great quality, they were not of substandard qualities, which the UGC found out. To have quality work, even the government, the prime minister, everybody is now thriving on research. A country cannot grow if they have poor research, and they have to work at the grassroots level, and the grassroots level is begins from the education, from the education field. So they have come with UGC care list. Now it is mandatory that in academics, whoever is publishing his or her paper, it has to be UGC care list only. Then it will under it will be many journals. It could be Scopus, it could be Catalyst 1, Catalyst 2, Web of Science, but it has to be authorized by the UGC. Second is publish or perish. As I said, everything is going to be should I say attached with your publications. because research has become an eminent part, especially in academics, as I said earlier also. So if you don't publish paper, if I say no, yaar, it's not my cup of tea, I cannot publish a paper. It's something beyond my limitation capacity. No, in that case, then you will see that after some times you will perish. In the sense, you will stuck for your promotions. You will lose your credibility in a due course of time. This is very crucial for especially academicians. Then the third one is of course greater visibility of research findings. Very important. When you publish a paper and where you display your findings, it gives a different kind of pleasure, confidence, and rating about you. Increases chances of citations. Now citations is playing very important role. How many times who have cited your papers is going to mark your should I say uh, the standing that you have in your research community and academic community. So it's very important. Get greater recognition amongst peers, very important. If you now people who publish paper in UGC care list and this kind of journals are seen very high nowadays, regarded very high because of it's not easy to publish papers in this reputed journals, so you automatically get recognition amongst your peers. Associated benefits, as most of us are academicians, we know that unless we don't publish papers, we will be left alone, left aside for promotions. Very important. Now as per the new UGC norms, for every post you have to have certain number of research papers published under UGC care, whether you are go for associate professor, eminent professor, or a director. You have to have publications in good and reputed journals. Productivity, yes, it's a very important thing. When you publish a paper, when you work on it, there is a lot of productivity involved in it, and you see also a change in yourself. I mean, it's not only outside productivity, but in inner productivity also increases because of research, because you do a in-depth analysis whenever you are preparing and publishing a paper. Allowances, as it is there, you can get various allowances. Some of the organizations, they give various allowances to the faculties, to staff who are publishing papers or doing any research work. Deciding on the journals for publications, now this is a very crucial and very should I say burning topic amongst the academicians. The fraternity of academicians nowadays, they talk about, अरे यार कौन से journals में publish करना है, where to publish, how it is going to be published, is it cloned journal, is it removed journal, it is a genuine journal. Big confusion is there in the mind of the academicians today. As I am in this field, I am also aware of many confusions, different opinions on this research journals, quality of research journals, authorization of these research journals. So my suggestion to the academicians who are listening to me and who are in the process of publishing papers should really take care. They should publish their paper in good UGC care 1, UGC care 2 journals, which is listed in the website of the SPPU. Then you have Web of Science, which consists of SCI, SSCI, SCIE, ESCI. These are all full journals which comes under the Web of Sciences. You can get the full forms of it on the websites. Then there is something called as Scopus under SGR. Scopus is also a very reputed journals, a type of a journal where your paper is published. It has a reputation. Journals are from reputation organizations such as it is written, ERA, Australia, ABS. These are all journals. Rankings are there. You can find on, if you want the details, you can go on the websites. Then there are some Scopus rankings like quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, and quarter 1 is the highest because the quality, when they accumulate the papers, first they publish by quarter 1, quarter 2. It is quality wise. The best papers get published in quarter 1, then quarter 2, in this way. below is the website given to you. For more details, the whoever wants to go into details about this can log into this website. This is a very peculiar questions which bothers the researchers, especially the academicians and faculties. Ki we have to pay so much, but let me tell you, some good journals are there, they don't charge for you, like IEE, that is Institute of Electric and Electronic Engineers. Engineering papers are basically published in these reputed journals. Elsewhere, Springer, this Pelgar, I mean, all the academicians should be aware of this. We have time and again heard about this thing. So open, these are the basically open access journals. They charge little bit money, because what happens is they don't take from they have to give this money to publishers, and then it is openly accessed for anybody on their website. So initial charges they are taking, otherwise they will not charge the money. These are some other publishers. You can, I mean, this I'm sure whoever faculties from their area of expertise or domain is there, they might be aware of all this basically journals. I mean, it's easily available on the website. Types of research papers. Now talking about types, how what are the types of research papers. Now talking about research papers, we have argumentative research papers, and followed by it second, third and fourth one. Let's come to the first one. Is an as the name specifies, it's an paper which are based on arguments. Now argumentative topics could be there. There are a lot of topics which have arguments. To name some is, let's take an example. What example do we take? Achha, in sports, let's take sports. I love sports, so I'll take example sports. First topic, what to take? Achha, okay. Should steroids be banned in the sports? Can be an argumentative paper. Is there discrimination between male athlete or female athlete? It's fine. And now a new argument has started in cricket, that mentor has been there. Mahendra Singh Dhoni has been kept mentor. Now it's a big argument when two people will come and they have to do the same job of, like, coach Ravi Shastri and mentor. What they are going to do? Actually, it's a good topic. Somebody should take, who loves sports can make a topic on this. So this is about argumentative research paper. Then analytical research paper. Analytical, what do you mean by analytical? Means basically you do an in-depth investigation. It deals with the cause and effects, why, how. So it deals with a very very fine analysis of any problems and comes with a solution. Then there is third one is research paper on conceptual background. Conceptual background means basically what is the background of the study, what are the relevant concepts, theories which were prevailing, and studying that in detail. What is expected from the researcher, what is expected, and what are the findings. So taking that concepts and going to the theories, there are many theories. A research paper on conceptual background can be made. Then research papers on various models. Most of us are academicians and students. We are aware that there are various models made by many scientists, psychologists, scholars. So research papers are also made on the models. To give you an example is a model made by Philip Kotler Zetmel on cervical service quality. So on that model we can make a research paper, or you can make a research paper on various models. One model by Maslow is there, by Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs. One on that model paper could be made, or you can make your own model after comparison. After comparing to, suppose take XY theory, okay, Mark Douglas XY theory. So studying that model, I have made my own model in today's considering today's generation, changing environment, changing scenario, changing lifestyle. So a research paper also can be made on various models as well. Classification of research journals by UGC is natural sciences, social sciences, arts and humanities, multidisciplinary. Natural sciences takes care of basically, as the name suggests, your all the basic sciences like biology, physics, botany, biotechnology, and a big name, chemistry, and a big name is there. So they take care of that. Social sciences, yes, social studies has been taken, behavioral, culture, it takes care of that, history, some part of geography. Arts and humanities also sometimes that it is interrelated, both the things, art and humanities and social sciences. But mostly it will deal with your cultures and the psychological part of the behavior, minute aspects from your OB. Could be dealt with this, like diversities and some other topics. Multidisciplinary, as the name suggests, it's multidisciplinary. Various domains come under it: management, engineering, medicine. So these papers can be published in these journals. Now this is very important. Initial stage. Let's see one by one what are the stages while preparing and publishing a good research paper. Selection of subject area is very important. Unless you are not aware of the area field, you just can't make a good paper. So your subject is very important. My subject is hospitality, so it's very clear for me in hospitality which domains, which specialization comes, what are the problems, what are the current trends. If I don't know that, then it will be difficult for me to publish the paper. So selection of subject is very important. I need to select the subject, and then only clarity will flow in your mind. Selection of organization, yes, organization is very important. Suppose I am doing a comparative studies between 5-star hotels and budget hotels. So these organizations, I should be aware of 5-star hotels. How many now organization? Sometimes people take multiple organizations. Sometimes I take only one organization. A study on service qualities of Marriott's hotels in Pune and Mumbai region. So selection of organization very important. Selection of geographical area, again I relate with the example which I is given now. Geographical area, which area my study will be restricted to, my data collection, sampling sizes. So it will be restricted to the geographical area, because your scope should be defined. If your scope goes beyond the limitation, it will be difficult for me to publish a good paper. So geographical area, as per the area, suppose like I said, I want to do my research area will be Pune region. So what comes in Pune region, I have to specify that. This is very important. Selection of study period may be may you can use it, you cannot you may skip it also. Basically mostly, see, when we do any research, we do it on a current topic. We very rarely, there are some historical research which are done on the older civilization. So there you have to mention the study period. Otherwise normally for plain research which are being done on management research, which are being done normally states that it is done, it should not be more than 5 years. Whenever I am doing any research, it should be older by 5 years only. Title is very important. Unless you don't finalize your title of the research paper, it's going to be very difficult. Title itself specifies the should I say
आया मुंडे बनने होना आया असला
the
आया
importance
ये तो होते असला
of the research
ना
paper.
असं माणसाला सांगितलं बघा ते बोलता कामा नाही
I think so. Prasanna Kumar needs to hello. Acha. Selection of yeah, finalization of title for research paper. As I said, it's very important. Very carefully, it has to be should I say finalized. And we see some very vague topic is there, and sometimes material watch inside it is there, it's different. So this is very important. This could be a very important factors why your paper could be not accepted. So it should, your topic should relate to the paper that you are publishing and writing. And there is a particular way of making the title, like some examples I'll give. A study on various factors affecting service quality in the hotels, to study the factors that will compare the factors of both the aspects, any aspects, HR aspects or marketing aspects. So a proper way to start a title is also very important. So this way the title should be framed, and the title should not be too big and too small. I have seen so big titles are there, 6 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines topics are there. So please, my request is that it should be short and sweet always. This is what my guide had told me, and I have stuck to it. So this could be an suggestion or from my
हे
side,
प्रशांत देशमुख आहे का ती मीटिंग
given to the young aspiring researchers.
काय करायचं शक्कर आहे ते आहे.
Then structure of ideal research paper. Basically, this is just an ideal thing. It's not 100% fixed. It depends upon now every publishing publisher have their little bit different should I say norms for this, but these are just standard which has been given, but it is not key. You have to stick to this. So it says that the title should be between 8 to 15 words. The abstract should be between 200 to 250 words. Keywords should be 6 to 8. Introduction should be between 500 to 1000 words. Normally there should be 2 to 3 objectives. It could go to 4 also. Same way with the hypothesis, 2, 3, 4 hypothesis. Literature review should be between 1000 and 2000 words. Then your paper literature review, after that there should be background, then there should be conceptual framework in your paper. Research methodology should be between 500 to 1000 words. Samplings, in sampling you have to see what is your target population, what kind of sampling you are going to use. So
इकडे थोडस हे होतं मला एक प्रेझेंटेशन चालू आहे.
sir, there is a acha. So sampling, what comes in sampling is target population. Who are your target population, from whom you are going to collect the data. And then samplings are there, various kind of sampling sizes, sampling methods are there. I will not go in deep into that. Respondents profile is very very important. Age profile could be age of the respondent, then his income group, and other details about his profile. So this also should be important when you are doing the sampling. Data collection is very important. After your suppose primary data, you have made your questionnaire, or you have done interviews, formal interviews, you need to collect the data, and those data is a raw data. It has to be made into a findings. How it will raw data will comes to the findings when you measure it. Once you measure it, you will get the results, and from the results you can make the findings. As it is said, 1000 to 1000 words are the findings which you can make for your studies. And then findings, for getting your findings and results, what is required is you require to test your hypothesis. How you are going to get the results? You are going to get the results from the data by applying the hypothesis testing. There are various kinds of hypothesis testing: chi-square, dispersion, and inferential statistics, dispersion, mean mode, this kind of things. I am not a statistician, so I won't be able to thrive much on this, but this way, once you put the hypothesis to test, then you will get the findings of your study, and from your findings you can make discussions and you can make conclusions for your studies, which could go for 1000 to 1500 words. Managerial implications are very important. Managerial implications means to how this study is going to be helpful. Suppose I have done a study on hospitality in one of the hotels, how to improve the sales of the hotels, or CRM strategy of the hotels. So I should state that from my study, the management of the hotels, the owners of the hotels, the customers of the hotels are going to be helped in this way. So your paper should in the end should denote managerial implications of your study. Social relevance, very important. How your paper is important for the society, what contributions it will be doing to your to the society in general, how it is important. So this is also very important. Short note you can write on this. Then recommendations for further or future research. I mean, this basically is not compulsory, but if some paper is such that it's a burning topic and which needs to be further research as well, can go with this. Then when you conclude your paper, it should be conclusion should be between 50 to 100 words. References should be given, annexures should be given to your papers, and this way then you will be able to finish your paper. Talking about title is very important, so I'll just a little bit thrive more on the title. It should be appropriate to the problem, self-explanatory, no complications, not so long, not so short. I think I have already dealt with this, because this is a very important. Maybe some publishers, after seeing your title only, they can reject the paper. So I have gone through these experiences, so through that I have made this particular presentation, and would like to tell the researchers so that they will not suffer whenever they are making any research papers. See, while making a title, you have to consider this point: what is to be researched, how will the topic be researched, with whom the research will be done, in what context the study will be conducted. A true researcher always studies all these facts and gets an answer. First of all, gets a question: what, how, with whom, and in what context, and then how am I going to achieve this, and then the title could be framed by the researchers. Now this abstract is a basic summary which is at the beginning of your paper. It's the first part of the research paper. Any research paper or any proposal, or you talk about any research thing, an abstract is a very important part of your research proposal. Prepare an abstract of the research paper. It's basically a conclusion in brief, means what you have done, what is the problem, how you have come to the conclusion. In a very short you have to write, and whether your objectives has been fulfilled or no. And the abstract should be written and prepared after the research paper. Mostly what happens, we write an abstract and we make the paper, but normally what was told to me when we were going through research methodology classes is, you make a paper and then you can make a good abstract. But most of them, what we have seen is, they make an abstract and make a paper. Anyways, it's not the fourth point is not should I say compulsory, or it has to be done in this way. It is the choice of the researcher. Keywords are very important. 6 to 8 words should be sufficient. People write many, some papers are there, they write only 2, which is very less, and some write 10, 12, it's very much. 6, 7 is enough. Main words should be, it should be the main words of the research paper. Yes, keywords are known or unknown. Sometimes they are unknown, so that's the reason we write it on the keywords, so that it will come, the person who is reading the paper, it's mostly for the, not for the researcher, but of the people who are going to refer to it. For them it's very important. It acts as a hook to draw attention, almost same point of the third. Then locate article in electronic database. Whenever I want to locate my article through the electronic database, I can put the keywords and I can get the paper. Reflects discipline and sub-disciplines. Yes, keywords, by reading the keywords you come to know the domain, discipline, sub-discipline of the topic of the paper. Introduction of your area. Introduction is very important. It should have your introduction to subject or area. Conceptual background means what you are going to study, why you are going to study, what is the concept, what are the arguments. Introduction about organization, department, this is common. Correlation between subject and the organization, this is also common. What study you are going to do, how it is applicable to the organization, what kind of organization it is there, what is the problems, what are the gaps basically. So it will be covered in this. Definition of the key concepts of your paper should be highlighted in the introduction section. Objective, 2 to 3 objectives are sufficient. related to titles and hypothesis. Basically your objective and hypothesis go hand in hand. Based on your objectives, hypotheses are framed. It should be clear. The purpose of doing research and writing paper should be basically clarified through objectives also. It is the objectives through which a reviewer comes to know the quality of the paper. Hypothesis, as everybody who are doing the research, who have done the research, know that these are the statements which either needs to be proved or disproved, and basically intellectual statements are there after your pilot study is done. And to test the hypothesis, various mathematical, inferential, statistical tools are applied. 2 to 3, basically I'll go with the number of objectives should be supported by the number of hypotheses. If I have 4 objectives, I will make 4 hypotheses to support it, in the sense whether it could be proved or it could be disproved. Collection of secondary data, hypothesis done. So collection of secondary data, there are 2 types of data basically. Yeah, primary data is the data which is not available, which is fresh data which has been collected and furnished, and which is processed and declared. Primary data consists of basically questionnaire, observation, formal, informal kind of interviews. And then secondary data is basically data which is already been published, available to the researcher in the form of books, research journals, e-journals, MPhil dissertations, PhD thesis, government reports, annual reports of various organizations. So and many more reports and documents through which you can get the secondary data. Depends upon the type of research that a person is doing. Review of literature is a very important part of the research. What is the objective? To identify the gap. Unless you don't know the gap, there is very should I say less chances of your paper getting really a good research paper. So there should be problems to be identified, gaps to be identified. So you have to do a review of literature. Review of literature is basically you review the articles through books, research paper, thesis, whatever is available of the authors, earlier author, what they have said about a particular concept, theme, aspects, problems, or whatever it is there. What are the arguments? Why they have said like this? And then you add something new to it after your research is been done. That is your when you review the literature, then you comment on the literature. So it's a very important part. It should I say is basically a pathway for a researcher. If he or she has done the review of literature properly, the path is smooth for the researcher. So basically this title of the authors, and this should be their objectives and hypothesis also are basically you need to, when you are doing your literature of review, you come to know also that my objectives and hypotheses are on the same line what I am as per my title and my area of research. Primary data I have already told. Analysis, basically there are various ways how you analyze your research, by the way of tabulation, by making tables. Now in this we have seen that many research paper the tabulations has been wrong. Some tables are there which shows different data, and the title written over below it is something different. So utmost care has to be taken when you are making a good tabulation. This is done if you want to show your any data, figures, or any such kind of information. Interpretation is very important. After your analysis is been done, you have to interpret what is it. Interpretation is a very should I say delicate point or destination when a researcher is carrying on his research. So it has to be interpreted properly. Graphs, pie charts are an important aspect through which you can make the presentation of your findings of your raw data. And finally, testing of hypothesis, which is already covered. Finding, conclusions and suggestions. Findings can be with percentages. It's very if you show with percentages, it's easier for the person to understand and see it. It makes the things very simple. Logical conclusions should be there. Unnecessary conclusions which could be confusing should be avoided. Constructive suggestions, very important. Now constructive suggestions should be given, not negative or forbidden suggestions should be given. There could be an argumentative papers. I have particularly gone through it. So some of it, the suggestions were not constructive. There were I should not use the word destructive, but there was it was in between constructive and destructive, which could not be accepted. So it's very important point. Solution to the problems, very important. Findings and conclusions should show the denote the solution to the problem, display the solutions to the problem. And if you have come with some new suggestions, it should be projected in your paper. If you have come with some improved models, suggestions to it can be inculcated in the findings and conclusions part. Bibliography and references. Basically references means all the things that you have referred to when you were doing your when you are researching, and it is important and you have mentioned it. Bibliography could be there. You have researched, so you have gone through or referred to many books, journals, not necessary you want to put it list it in your bibliography, because only for one sentence I have seen the bibliography, but references will be you have actually referred to those particularly books, journals, websites and many more things. So this is a minute difference between bibliography and a reference, but both of it could be what you call mentioned at the end of this. Basically comes at the end of your research paper. So this way you can make your end part of your research paper. And then there are styles of making bibliography and references. Basically author's name, surname of the author, name of the author, then in bracket year of publication, name of the book, name then if it is in conference, name of the conference, the year, date of the conference. This way it has been done. Two styles are there, APA, American Psychological Association, and Harvard's research suffering is being basically are used. Mostly it is same, not much difference. Universally used is API, basically 12 point font Times New Roman is what it is there. This is some of the examples of references. This way if we see good research papers, this is the way normally references are written. I have already explained to this typing instruction. Basically font it should be 12 New Roman. Spacing, everybody is aware of the spacing. Indentation is also everybody's it comes directly on the word now. Computer has made our work very easy. Margins should be there 1.5 this is very basic, I won't go in this. Quotation should be quoted in inverted commas, very important. One inverted comma you can quote your quotations. What to avoid? Do not discuss background information. History, people write so many big history when they are writing introduction. I mean, this is absolutely not required. Never include raw data. This is very important. Lot of research paper I have seen raw data without applying any statistical tools or should I say making any applications or processing it, should I say processing it is not done. So chances are there that your paper could be not accepted. Do not present same data more than once. Some papers are there I have seen where very few actually, but these mistakes are, you might think this is such a basic, nobody will do it, but researchers do that. 2-3 times same data, same information has been portrayed or put it. This should be avoided. Text should complement any figure. This is what I was telling. The whatever figures are there, that should be mentioned below. suppose table number 2, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, and it's figure number 1, 2, it should be clearly denoted below the your tables. Do not confuse figures with tables. So this is what I was saying. Tables should be properly done, and the figures has to be mentioned below. Don't address readers directly. This is important. We should not address directly, as it has been told to us that indirectly you have to address the readers. Suppose I am writing a paper on athletes, so I will not give it, or I give the example of Dhoni and Ravi Shastri as mentor and coach, but in the research paper I will not mention their name. It's better to give an example, Mr. A, Mr. B, this kind of things, not directly relations you should show. Avoid to use superficial pictures. Some of the what you call presentations I have seen where superficial pictures were put, so that gives a not a good impression about the presentation. So that also should be avoided, and as well as on your research paper also. This irrelevant things should not be added in your research paper. It should be avoided as far as possible. General guidance for making a paper: stay focused, very important. Focus is very, unless if you lose your focus, you will get derailed from your topic. So it's very difficult to come again to the main mode of your topic. Present the point in logical order, very very important. I mean, this is what has been taught to us from the school time. Use present tense to report well accepted facts. Yes, present tense you should try to write in present tense. Past tense is also you can put past tense also, but to describe the specific results. This was found that, it was found that, the findings were like. So this way you can use past tense as well. Introduction should not exceed actually I should say it should, I have written here 2 pages, but I will say 1 page, more than enough. Some of the big if you are writing for Scoopus, which is for 5,000 words, there you can use 2 pages, but normal UGC CAT papers you can basically make an introduction for a page, or that's it, or half maximum, if you really feel that my material is such that it should come in the introduction section. Keep coordination between abstract and paper, very important. In my last some slide I told, abstract says something and your paper says something. It should not happen in this way, so it's very important. Summary should not be more than 200 words when you are making an abstract of the summary. 200 words is more than enough. Now again, this is not compulsion. I have seen a summary where it is only of 3 lines. I have seen a summary where it is around 400 words. So there is, I mean, these are just standard thing. It's not a stamped thing. Spelling, clarity, appropriateness of sentences, grammatical mistakes, this I should not tell. We are all aware of this. Follow instruction. This is very important. Journals, they give their particular kind of suggestions, or they give specific guidelines. We have to abide by their guidelines. If they say that it should be double spacing, so your paper should have double spacing. If they say single spacing, it should be single spacing. If they say paragraph, beginning of the paragraph with the capital, whatever it is there, we have to see it and abide by it. Follow appropriate research methodology, very important. If you feel that your paper has to be made in primary data, you have to go with it. If you feel that for me getting primary data is very very difficult, so go for the secondary data of research methodology. So thank you everyone. This was from my side. Actually it's a very deep and a very big topic, and ever changing, because new concepts, new things comes under this, because there are authorities and eminent people who are continuously working on this particular topic. So in case you have any questions which I can be if I will be able to answer to it, you are most welcome to ask me. I have done with my presentation.